important concept from the Yoga Vashistha, which talks about Adhi and Vyadhi. This concept of Adhi Vyadhi, ever since I had memories of my childhood, I remember Swamiji talking about it, teaching about it in classes. And Swamiji used to use this concept of Adhi Vyadhi as psycho-somatics. So his usage of it was psycho-somatics, and he used to often use the term of Adhi as the higher, Vyadhi as the lower, Adhi as the mind, Vyadhi as the body. So these were some of the connotations with which he used this term Adhi Vyadhi. And in fact in yoga, step by step, very early in the lessons, he introduces Adhi Vyadhi. That the Vyadhi, which is disease, Vyadhi is a term for disease. Like Roga is also disease. Vyadhi implies a disease of the body that is not only impacting the body but impacting your mind also. So it is basically the mental impact that is created by a bodily disposition. So if you understand the concept Vyadhi, it goes back to the Yoga Sutra, where Maharishi Patanjali gives us a list of 9 obstacles, and the first obstacle is Vyadhi. On the path of yoga, he says there are 9 obstacles and there are 4 accompanying manifestations. And he says Vyadhi is the first because one of the things that stops us from our yoga sadhana is the fact that I am not well. I cannot do it because I am not well. From the universe in which you live, that is the first disease. Dvidiyam, to feel there is a second. Initially I used to call it Dvaitam, but then because there is a Dvaita philosophy, I have avoided that Dvaitam, I call it Dvidiyam. And in fact, the Upanishads and the Vedas tell us Dvidiyam. Bhayam of fear comes from Dvidiyam, the second of the feeling of being second, a feeling of having a second person, a second entity to challenge you. We are all fine when we are on our own. And then the second person comes and we feel threatened. We are threatened by the second, the other. Another way to look at it is the other. So here when we talk about it, Swamiji said, at the Adi, which is the source, Adi means the root, Adi means the source. It means the highest. These are 3 connotations. Adi can mean the highest, it can mean the source, and it can mean from where it all comes, the origin. In fact, we say Adi and Anadi. Anadi means the one which has no origin. So when we talk of Shiva, we say Shiva is Anadi. He is without origin and he is Ananta, without end. Anta means end. Ananta means without end. So without origin, without end, which means infinite. That which has no beginning and no end. Adiyum antamum illa. Adiyum antamum illa. Illa means no. So Adi antam illa means it doesn't. Avit Perunchovadi, that cosmic light is what we are talking about. So the word Adi as the higher. So Swamiji often described Adi as the macrocosm and Vyadhi as a microcosm. That's another way you can also understand it. So the relationship between the higher and the lower. In this relationship, that which is subtler is the mind. So the mind, the psyche, becomes the higher, the soma, the body, becomes the lower because it is grosser. So when you compare the subtler and the grosser, you have Adi at the subtle, Vyadhi at the gross level. Now, if you go into the Yoga Vashistha, the concept of Adija Vyadhi and Anadija Vyadhi is described. So here you have a term Ja. Ja means Jananam. Jananam means to be born, Genesis. The term Genesis and Jananam means to come, the source. That's why Genesis, the sources of salus or health. So here we have the concept of Adhi Vyadhi, those disorders that are caused by the Adi, and Anadi Vyadhi, Anadi, which means not by the Adi. So disorders that are caused by the Adi, disorders that are not caused by the Adi, Adija Vyadhi, Anadija Vyadhi. This is the classification given in Yoga Vashistha.